Have you ever asked yourself why failure hurts so much? Why one mistake, one rejection, or one fall can make you feel like the whole world is closing in on you? It's because deep inside, we have been conditioned to believe that failure is the opposite of success. We're taught that failure is the end of the road, the signal that we are not good enough, smart enough, or capable enough. But what if this belief is the greatest lie holding you back? The truth is, failure is not the opposite of success. Failure is the first step toward it. Every success story you admire, every breakthrough that inspires you, every person who ever achieved something extraordinary, behind them all lies a trail of failures. Not just one or two, but countless moments of falling short. The difference is, they didn't stop. They didn't take failure as a full stop. They took it as a comma, a pause before moving forward. I want you to stay with me until the very end of this video because I'm going to share something powerful. If you can shift the way you see failure, if you can truly understand its role in your journey, you will stop running from it and start using it. That shift alone can change your entire life. That's the reward waiting for you here, the ability to rise with new strength every time you fall. But let's begin with the most important question. Why do we fear failure so much? It's because failure triggers pain. Psychologists say that the brain reacts to failure almost the same way it reacts to physical pain. That's why you feel the sting of rejection, the shame of falling short, the heaviness of not meeting expectations. And because the brain is designed to protect us from pain, it whispers lies to us. Don't try again. Don't take risks. Stay safe. Stay small. That's how people get trapped in comfort, trapped in mediocrity, trapped in fear. But let's turn the perspective. Failure is not there to stop you. Failure is there to shape you. It's not a wall, it's a mirror. It reflects your weaknesses, your blind spots, your areas for growth. And when you face it, when you learn from it, you grow into the kind of person who can actually handle success. Because here's the truth. If success came without failure, you wouldn't be able to carry it. You wouldn't have the strength, the resilience, or the wisdom to hold on to it. Think about a child learning to walk. Do they stand up on the first try and run across the room? No, they fall. They stumble. They fall again. Sometimes they cry. But what do they do next? They get up again. And every fall, every failure, is what makes their legs stronger. Every stumble is part of the process of learning balance. Eventually, those falls create the foundation for walking, running, and living freely. Without failure, there is no first step. The same principle applies to your dreams. You are meant to stumble. You are meant to face setbacks. Not because you are weak, but because every failure is preparing you. Each time you fall, you are gaining insight. You are building resilience. You are creating strength you never had before. Failure is not stealing your future. It is shaping it. Here's the most powerful shift you can make. Stop asking, what if I fail? Start asking, what will I learn if I fail? Because when you think this way, failure stops being something to fear and becomes something to use. That single question can change your relationship with failure forever. So the next time you feel defeated, the next time you want to quit, remember this. You are not at the end. You are at the beginning. Failure is not proof that you can't succeed. It is proof that you are in the process of succeeding. And the people who win in life are not the ones who avoid failure. They are the ones who embrace it, learn from it, and keep moving forward. Stay with me until the end of this video, because what I'm about to share will give you the courage to see failure differently from this moment on. If you've ever felt stuck, if you've ever felt broken by your mistakes, you are about to discover how to turn every single one of those failures into the stepping stones for your greatest success. Failure is not destruction, it is direction. When life pushes you down, it is not trying to end your journey. It is trying to point you toward a better path. Think about it. If everything went right the first time, you would never stop to think, never question, never adjust. Success without failure is fragile because it has no foundation. But success that is born through failure is unshakable because it has been tested, refined, and strengthened. Failure exposes the gap between where you are and where you need to be. It's not punishment, it's feedback. It is life's way of saying, this attempt wasn't right, but you are closer than before. And here's the beautiful truth. Every failure carries a hidden message, But only those who are willing to listen can unlock it. If you stop at failure, you miss the wisdom. If you rise after failure, you receive the lesson that no classroom, no book, no easy win could ever teach you. Our minds, however, are quick to resist this. The human brain is built for survival, not success. That means it wants safety, not growth. When you fail, your brain immediately signals danger. Don't try again, don't take risks, avoid this pain. And because we believe that voice, we shrink. We stop chasing big dreams. We lower our expectations. We convince ourselves that average is safer than aiming higher. But what feels safe in the moment becomes regret in the future. And regret hurts far more than failure ever could. The people who rise above this trap are the ones who reframe failure. They don't see it as a dead end. They see it as a redirection. They don't ask, why me? They ask, what is this teaching me? That single shift turns failure from a weight into a weapon. Instead of dragging you down, it pushes you forward. Think about this. Failure does not take away your potential. It reveals it. If you failed at something, it means you were reaching beyond your comfort zone. It means you were daring to do something that mattered. Failure is evidence that you are trying, that you are stretching yourself, that you are moving towards something bigger than what you already have. Without failure, you would stay in the same place forever. And isn't that the real tragedy? Not the failure itself, but the choice to stay stuck because of it. The person who fails but gets back up is always ahead of the person who never tries. Because the one who failed has already gained experience, wisdom, and courage. They've faced the storm and proven to themselves that they can survive it. And when you survive failure, you become unstoppable. Remember this, success is not a straight line. It is not a smooth path. It is a series of falls and rises, of setbacks and breakthroughs. The world may only see the breakthrough, but behind every victory lies a long trail of failure. Those failures were not accidents. They were the training ground. They shaped the discipline, the strength, the focus, and the resilience that made success possible. So what is the truth about failure? The truth is, failure is not there to break you. It is there to build you. It is not the end of your story. It is the shaping of your story. Every failure is a piece of the puzzle that makes your future complete. And if you are willing to keep moving, keep rising, and keep learning, every single failure will eventually become part of your success. Failure is not a curse. Failure is a gift. It may not feel like it in the moment. It may hurt. It may sting. It may feel like loss. But wrapped inside that pain is wisdom, strength, and opportunity. And the ones who are brave enough to unwrap that gift are the ones who create lives of true greatness. So the next time you fail, don't ask, why did this happen to me? Instead ask, how is this shaping me? Because failure is never just about what went wrong, it's about who you are becoming. And if you are becoming stronger, wiser, and more resilient, then failure is not your enemy. It is your ally. If failure is truly a gift, why do we fear it so much? Why does the thought of failing again stop people from even trying? The answer lies in the way our minds are wired. Human psychology is built to avoid pain, and failure feels like pain. It feels like rejection, like embarrassment, like exposure. To the brain, failure is not just a result, it's a threat. And when your brain feels threatened, it screams one command: run away. This is why most people settle for less than they're capable of. They would rather live in the safety of what is than face the risk of what could be. The fear of failure paralyzes them. They stop reaching, they stop risking, they stop dreaming. And yet, what they don't realize is that by trying to protect themselves from the pain of failure, they are walking straight into the greater pain of regret. Fear of failure is not proof that you are weak. It's proof that you are human. Everyone feels it. But here's the difference. Some people let fear control them, while others use it as a compass. Fear points to the very things that matter most to you. You don't fear failing at something you don't care about. You fear failing at what is important, what is meaningful, what has the power to change your life. That fear is not a stop sign. It's a signal that says, this is where your growth lives. Think about how many dreams have died, not because people were incapable, but because they let fear speak louder than courage. The truth is, the fear of failure is often worse than failure itself. Failing hurts, yes, but that hurt fades. Regret does not. Regret lingers. Regret whispers for years about what could have been, what you might have done, what life you might have lived. And if you let fear dictate your choices, you will carry that regret like a shadow that never leaves. So how do you overcome this fear? You don't eliminate it, you face it. You accept that fear will always be there, but you refuse to let it stop you. Courage is not the absence of fear. Courage is moving forward in spite of fear. And when you take that step, when you act even with your heart racing and your doubts screaming, you weaken fear's grip on you. Each time you face it, fear loses power, and your confidence grows stronger. Psychology also shows us that the brain adapts to whatever we repeatedly do. This means the more you avoid failure, the stronger your fear becomes. But the more you face failure, the less power it holds over you. It's like lifting weights. The more you lift, the stronger you get. Facing failure works the same way. The more you expose yourself to it, the braver you become. Ask yourself this: what would your life look like if you no longer let the fear of failure control you? How many goals would you pursue? How many dreams would you chase? How many risks would you finally take if you knew that failure could not define you, but only refine you? The greatest tragedy is not falling, it's never taking the leap. People with extraordinary lives are not the ones who never failed. They are the ones who failed more times than most people even tried. Every attempt that didn't work was not wasted. It was training. It was shaping their mindset, their character, their resilience. That is why they succeeded. Not because they avoided failure, but because they refused to let fear of failure stop them. Fear will always whisper in your ear. It will always try to convince you that staying safe is better than risking the fall. But here is the truth you must carry. Safety never built greatness. Comfort never built strength. The life you want, the success you dream of, the person you are meant to become. These things live on the other side of fear. And when you decide to face that fear, when you choose to walk through failure instead of away from it, you unlock a level of power within you that most people never discover. That is how ordinary people become extraordinary. Not because they were fearless, but because they felt the fear and acted anyway. So the next time fear of failure rises up in you, don't run from it. Don't let it decide your future. Look at it, face it, and remember this: fear is not the enemy. Fear is the invitation. It is the signal that you are standing at the edge of growth. And if you take the step forward, no matter how small, you will realize that fear is never as big as it seems, and that failure is never the end. Failure does more than test your limits. It shapes who you are. Every time you stumble, every time life knocks you down, you are being given the raw material to build character. Success might give you comfort, but failure gives you strength. And in the end, strength is far more valuable than comfort. Think about it. Character is not built when everything is easy. Character is built in the dark, in the quiet moments when nobody is watching, when you are forced to ask yourself, am I going to stay down or am I going to rise again? It's in those moments that resilience is born. Failure introduces you to parts of yourself you never knew existed. The determination you didn't realize you had. The patience you didn't know you needed. The courage you didn't think you could carry. Most people pray for a smooth life, but smooth roads never made strong travelers. It's the bumps, the detours, the setbacks, and the struggles that shape you into someone unshakable. Failure is not just an obstacle. It is the gym where your mind and spirit grow stronger. Just as your muscles need resistance to grow, your character needs challenges to expand. Without those challenges, you remain untested, unprepared, and unchanged. The truth is, failure humbles us. It strips away arrogance and replaces it with wisdom. It reminds us that we are human, that we have limits, and that growth always requires work. But at the same time, failure empowers us. It shows us that even at our lowest, we can endure. We can adapt. We can rebuild. And this combination of humility and strength creates a character that cannot be broken easily. Think of the people you admire most. They are not admired because their path was easy. They are admired because their path was hard, and they still chose to walk it. They became role models not because they avoided failure, but because they endured it, learned from it, and grew stronger because of it. Failure was the fire that forged their character, and the same fire can forge yours. Psychology teaches us something powerful. People grow most when they are slightly outside their comfort zone. Too much comfort leads to stagnation. Too much stress leads to burnout. But failure often places us right in that space where growth is possible, where the challenge is great enough to push us, but not so great that it destroys us. That's where character is shaped. That's where we learn resilience, patience, and perseverance. Failure also teaches empathy. When you've fallen, when you've been through pain, you learn to understand others on a deeper level. You stop judging so quickly. You listen more carefully. You relate to struggles because you've lived them yourself. And that empathy, that ability to connect with others through shared struggle, is one of the greatest strengths you can ever carry. But the greatest gift of failure is this: it makes you real. It strips away the mask. It forces you to confront yourself honestly. Success can sometimes create illusions. It can make you believe you're untouchable, that you've mastered everything. Failure destroys that illusion and leaves behind truth. And when you know the truth about yourself, your weaknesses, your strengths, your limits, you gain a foundation that no storm can wash away. Here's the paradox. Most people are terrified of failure. Yet failure is the very thing that prepares them for the success they dream about. Without character, success is fragile. It crumbles under pressure. But when failure has forged you, success doesn't break you. It magnifies you. You carry it with grace, with gratitude, and with wisdom. Ask yourself, when the world looks at me, do they see someone who only values the victories? Or do they see someone who has been through battles and still stands tall? Because the truth is, the victories don't define you, the resilience does. The ability to take a punch, to fall, to cry, to hurt, but then to rise again, that is character. That is power. That is the kind of strength failure gives you if you choose to use it. And the beauty of this is that failure never leaves you empty-handed. Even when you lose, you gain something: experience, perspective, resilience, clarity. These are treasures you cannot buy and you cannot fake. They are earned only through the fire of setbacks. And those treasures become the foundation of your success. So when you face failure, don't only see what you lost. Look closer. See what you gained. See how you are stronger now than you were yesterday. See how your heart can endure more. How your mind can stretch further. How your will can stand taller. Because every single failure has been silently carving you into someone more powerful, more resilient, and more unshakable than before. Remember this: success might be the destination, but failure is the teacher. And if you allow yourself to learn, to grow, to be molded, failure will not just lead you to success, it will prepare you to carry it with the strength and wisdom of someone who truly earned it. Failure is not just a lesson in disguise, it is a mirror. It reflects back to you what worked, what didn't, and what you need to change. Too many people see failure as the final verdict, but in truth, it is simply feedback. And feedback is the most valuable tool you will ever receive on your journey to success. Think of it this way: when you touch something hot, your body immediately reacts and pulls back. That pain is not meant to stop you from living. It's meant to guide you, to protect you, to teach you what not to do next time. Failure works the same way. It is not there to end your dreams. It is there to show you a better way to reach them. The problem is, most people never pause to see the feedback. They get so consumed with the sting of failure that they forget to ask the most important question: what is this teaching me? They shut down. They give up. They walk away without realizing that the very answers they were searching for were hidden inside that failure. Winners think differently. When they fail, they don't see defeat. They see data. They study the mistake. They look for patterns. They adjust their strategy. And because of that mindset, every failure becomes a stepping stone, not a stumbling block. Success leaves clues, yes, but so does failure. In fact, failure often leaves the clearest ones. Psychologists tell us that the human brain is wired to learn fastest when there is a mistake. Why? Because failure activates problem solving. It forces your mind to adapt, to grow, to become sharper. If everything always went smoothly, you would never challenge yourself to find new ways of doing things. You would never grow beyond the person you already are. Failure is the pressure that forces you to evolve. Think about the greatest breakthroughs in history. Almost every single one came after a series of failures. Scientists run hundreds of experiments that don't work before they find the one that does. Athletes train with countless mistakes before they master the perfect move. Inventors try, fail, rebuild, and fail again until finally something clicks. If they had given up at the first sign of failure, the world would be without some of its greatest achievements. Here's the truth you must hold on to. Failure doesn't mean you're not capable. Failure doesn't mean you're not worthy. It simply means the method you used was not the right one.